Previously.
All of this is a reality. A loss won't be looked at as a conclusion of defeat. A loss is going to be looked at as resistance. And just like any resistance, you have to stretch it until it snaps.
Up next.
And I've said this before, the enemy is going to resist you at the beginning and is going to resist you at the finish line. Right? That's where he doesn't want you to start. And if you stretch further than the resistance of the start, he's going to resist you at the end so that you do not finish. You get discouraged. Now you begin to see temporal things as things that are going to last forever. And now you end up making a permanent decision over a circumstance that was temporary. Now the whole trajectory of your life changed because what's going on, man? What's good? The reality of being a conqueror, the reality of being victorious. Now, hence I was talking about resistance and all that. A person who has the reality, a person who's encountered the reality of a conqueror is a person who's encountered Christ. But some people, I don't even want to talk about people now, I'm talking about this. The reality of Christ is a reality that conquers. The minute you align with that reality, things won't look like defeat, but they're going to look like resistance. And if it looks like resistance, you look at ways, since the reality is a reality of a conqueror, it won't accept that as is. It's going to delve deeper to look for ways to stretch forth through that resistance. For where I am weak, he is strong. So now, since you identify that, wait a minute, the flesh is weak, but the spirit is willing, then what you have to do is exercise your spirit until the flesh catches up, or crucify the flesh so that the spirit takes over. You know what I mean? Fasting comes into place. You know what I mean? So now, with that being said, a conqueror resists the resistance. So let's say, let me make an example about Moses. God chose him. You're going to be the deliverer of the Israelites from Pharaoh. I'm going to use you. And instantly, Moses, since at that point he was still alive to the defeat, his defense to his resistance to the reality of Christ, which was him being a deliverer, was his limitations. He couldn't speak properly. They won't listen to me. They won't believe me. They won't but. You can't please God without faith. So, a conqueror, not just that, at that moment, God was so faithful. God is so faithful that he made provisions for all those weaknesses Moses made as his defense for God can't use it. He was so faithful, man. God is so faithful. He made provisions for all of that. Now, one thing I can say is that the one that's a conqueror is Christ. And Christ will back up his word. Now, if his word says, Son of man, you're going to be highly anointed. You're going to be the first multi-millionaire in your estate, in your family. Son of man, you're going to be the first prophet from your family. Son of man, you're going to be the first entrepreneur from your family. Son of man, you're going to be the first, And one thing I've realized is that just like Moses, there will always be those, and it's like it happens so instantly, those resistance. How can I? It'll consume your mind. You will get sold in it, that reality of being a conqueror, of who God is calling you to be, until now it's time to apply. The enemy is going to resist you, and I've said this before, the enemy is going to resist you at the beginning and is going to resist you at the finish line. Right? That's where he doesn't want you to start. And if you stretch further than the resistance of the start, he's going to resist you at the end so that you do not finish. You get discouraged. Now you begin to see temporal things as things that are going to last forever. And now you end up making a permanent decision over a circumstance that was temporary. Now the whole trajectory of your life changed because you were unable to perceive through the lens of the conqueror, who is Jesus Christ in you, but you perceived it through the lens of the flesh, and you aligned with that, and your reality took a wrong turn, a left turn, over a place where you were not supposed to be at, because you were unable to perceive with the lens of a conqueror, but you perceived with the lens of a lens of someone who's defeated. The minute we begin to understand that there is nothing that can conquer Christ in us, then we will not accept defeat. You know what I mean? We will not accept defeat. Even with praying for somebody, healing, doing this, doing that, in ministry, in businesses, and nothing will ever be a conclusion. If God has not said something about it, I am not stopping. Let's chant. Since God is the one that put me on this path, I am not stopping until God says otherwise. I don't care what happens. The perception, the perceiving, the reality I'm going to operate on the reality of a conqueror. And if anything is contrary to that reality, I'm going to press on in Christ until I resist the resistance and snaps and it breaks. I will not bend to circumstances. Circumstances are going to bend to Christ, who is in me, who is a conqueror, the one above all authorities, dominions, powers, and rulers and principalities. I refuse to bend my knee. I refuse to bend my knee. What? Not when Christ is living in me. Let's say chance. It don't make sense to a normal man. Don't you see this is not working? Yo, if Christ is the one that put me on this path, why am I stopping, man? Who am I listening to? Since Christ is the one that said I must do this, right? And he told me that I'm a conqueror, right? In him. I'm a conqueror in him, right? Yeah. So how am I going to if anything else that is not Christ tries to convince me otherwise from this reality of me being a conqueror, then I will not be aligning with the perception of a conqueror in Christ, but I will be aligning to something else that is not Christ, and my life is going to be based on another word that is not Christ. Meaning, since Christ is the one that is above all rulers, authorities, dominions, powers, and principalities, if I align with another word that is not his, then that means I will be conquered in the process of aligning with this word. I will be conquered, because the word that I'm aligning with is not the word that is above all rulers, principalities, authorities, and dominions. It's not that word. But if I align with that word, then I don't care how long it resists me. I am not bowing my knee to resistance. The resistance will eventually snap and break. Matter of fact, the resistance must snap and break because of Christ. But the only way to be able to align in Christ like that, is to submit to him in everything. Whether you feel sad, you submit. You feel happy, you submit. You feel excited, you submit. You feel down, you submit. You think you feel depressed, you submit. How do you submit? You read his word. You read his word. 1, you pray. No. 1, you pray. 2, you read his word. Yo, find yourself in Christ so much that whatever tries to manipulate that word, his word in you, will find the fire of Christ burning in you, that you will not bend your knee, and you will continue and operate until that resistance that is coming before you bows to Christ who is in you. Refuse. Resist the resistance.